is the moment you've all been waiting for. And I thought, ironically, when you sort of set this up, Corporate Explorer and Captain Proton actually fit extremely well together. So my good friend Jared Coyle, months ago we talked about this event. Great AI guy, great speaker. Will you do the keynote on day 2? Yes, I'll do the keynote on day 2. But SAP has this thing called Winter Circle, where they celebrate their best in different forms or fashion. Jarrett, do you want to go to Hawaii the week of February 26th? So it was like, come to my event this week versus Hawaii, right? What would you do? No, you wouldn't come here. You wouldn't come here because you're here, right? Okay. So what Jarrett did was, you know what? I'm going to make a video of this. I'm going to construct a video to explain a bit about and have some fun, because we want to have some fun as well at these events on Captain Proton's Guide to the GenAI Fourth Dimension. And honestly, I said to Andrew, quite frankly, the video is almost better than you being here, right? And I meant that in a very fine way in terms of that. And I want you to sit back. I'll step aside to enjoy the video. And I will say I greatly appreciate the time they took to construct. It's a film short. So I'll stand aside and we maybe turn down the music a little bit before we roll the video.
Hello, everyone. And on behalf of the wider SAP AI community, I'm just really happy that you're all here. I want to thank you all for coming to Newtown Square. I wish that we could be there in person together, but we've got a large team there supporting as well. My name's Jared. I lead the NA AI Task Force here at SAP. And I just wanted to say, when we were asked to do this keynote, we thought, we really wanted to make it interesting. We wanted to make it engaging, but let's admit it. An event like this is about having great conversations with your colleagues and peers. It's about diving into the intricacies and nuances of not just the architecture at your organization, but the dynamics of what you are encountering, which is always unique and special. So what we've tried to do here is add a little fun to the mix. But by all means, this is an event that's about being able to engage with others. So because of that, we hope that you enjoy Captain Proton and what we've brought to you. But more importantly, we are excited and proud of what SAP is pulling together in the generative AI space. We think our strategy of business AI to focus specifically on end-to-end business processes and how AI can be used in those is really valuable to organizations. And we hope that if there's one thing you take away from our message, that it's that. And so without further ado, I hand over to Captain Proton.
We join our hero and his sidekick on the deck of their starship, the HMS AI Voyager. This dynamic duo of heroes has been traversing the nether regions of space-time, preparing to face their arch-nemesis, generative AI. We find Captain Proton sitting in the captain's chair, reading the latest in neural network literature in preparation. This isn't Captain Proton's first adventure. This is, after all, the same fearless leader who weathered previous hype cycles. From the abacus, to punch cards, to the personal computer craze, to the dot-com insanity, to the blockchain bonanza, to the metaverse marvel, and to the cloud blob. He is aided by his faithful sidekick, Lieutenant Nova, who is best known for his dashing good looks and irrational preoccupation with ERP solar systems. Suddenly, our heroes are interrupted by a distress signal from a nearby planet.
Nova, distress signal on screen. The executive board and executive leadership team told us we need to use generative AI, or else.
Test prompt. What is my cash position across all EU-based bank accounts? Response. Fish. And 42.
Help us, Captain Proton!
Captain Proton decides to investigate, hoping to uncover the source of the signal.
Aha! I've discovered the source of the signal in the noise. It's coming from the planet Jupyter Notebook. The citizen data scientists have become lost in the GenAI fourth dimension. Generative AI has ruined their way of life. They're experiencing hallucinations, model drift, rampant prompt injection, a deep desire to create a science project around every business use case. Worst of all, an inability to access their SAP data relevantly, reliably, and responsibly. What they need is business AI.
Let's be clear. If you're going to leverage business AI, there's a couple things you need to know. First, business AI isn't just one thing. You're going to need to use it with your business software in many ways, like Nutella. 1. Embedded in your business software. Just turn it on, use it, and for a better UX and streamline business processes, like SAP Joule. Or 2, bolt it onto your business software, using the power of the cloud to generate code or automate swivel chair behavior that you have in your processes. And when you want to drive that competitive advantage, you will also want to build certain aspects of your own AI capabilities. First, to bring the large language model to the ERP with SAP's Generative AI Hub and SAP HANA Cloud Vector. And if you really need to, SAP DataSphere for a governed way to access all that ERP data through a data fabric subspace from anywhere in the galaxy.
Okay, enough of that, Nova. It's time to save the planet Jupyter Notebook.
Upon landing on Jupiter, Captain Proton and Lieutenant Nova encounter a strange, advanced civilization. From citizen to board member, the civilization is chock full of data scientists, convinced that generative AI and generative AI alone will solve all their societal challenges.
Look, friends, generative AI is powerful, I know. I've faced her many times before. But there's some things you should probably remember. Particularly, generative AI makes things feel natural, but isn't necessarily going to be rigorously quantitatively accurate with the trusted data set you've been creating as a business over the past few decades. So you're going to need some help. Yes, generative AI will make that a smooth experience and can create test data sets amongst other scenarios. But you're also going to need to not forget your old love, that of ML or narrow AI. For it's the combination of these left and right-hand powers that will truly transform your business. Maybe even provide the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Or at least what your target inventory levels should be when launching a new product line, how to forecast future sales in Southeast Asia, or how to craft inclusive job descriptions. Some people call this a combination of large language model, suavite, and vector database, retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, but we prefer RAGE.
Just then, an enigmatic figure rises to introduce itself to our two heroes.
I'm Schrödinger, space pup and leader of all planetary architecture. Our strategy is simple. One ring of cobbled-together solutions to rule them all. Sounds much like my former partner, Chaotica. Who evaluates your use cases? Have you built a coordinated business capability forward heat map of just where AI can benefit your organization?
I'd trade all the puppy chow in the galaxy for a capability map of our AI potential as an organization. But no, we have not built it. We're too busy mining for use cases.
Just like you did with blockchain? Sounds a bit like a deterministic tail wagging a stochastic dog.
Ouch. Low blow. What might you suggest?
Did you know that only 3% of companies we've evaluated are actually making any sort of return on their Galactic GenAI investment? They're all doing 3 key things. 1, they've mapped out traditional and GenAI potential from a business capability perspective. 2, they've started either focused on a key area of business process inefficiency, like manual labor to match documents or respond to L0 IT tickets, or a key area of competitive advantage, like dynamic floor pricing. And 3, they have a clear governance model in place to balance the ethical, legal, and technological risk, with the business opportunity and technology leadership typically on an AI committee or board. Third-party participants, such as those from industry, also appear to be helpful.
Wow. Can you help us start our process, Captain Proton?
We'd be happy to help. You can work with Lieutenant Nova and his companions, otherwise known as the architects and engineering leaders here in this room, to get started.
Now that we've gotten to know each other at least a little, I'd like to go one level deeper.
Well, let's start where everyone starts. Joule.
What's that? I thought when it came to AI, Joule was everything everywhere all at once.
No, my fine sentient canine friend, Joule is two things. First, it's a basic unit of energy in physics.
Don't ask. It was named by Germans.
It's also SAP's new generative AI-powered copilot. We released it for our HR solutions last year. It's really all about improving the user experience, from navigating the system to asking for transactional and analytical query assistance, or how something works in the system. Interacting with your computer through clicks and taps is so 21st century. Joule brings us into the 24th century, in the fourth dimension.
So can I use it in S4 HANA?
Soon.
Can I extend it like a general-purpose chatbot?
No.
But will it understand our business here on this planet?
Yes, because it understands your data and it uses rage.
Sounds great!
Having faced many challenges and many questions in regard to whether or not Joule encompasses all business AI at SAP, Captain Proton and his dapper Sancho Panza are asked to give a brief overview of other AI use cases.
Hey kids, AI is useful in a lot of ways. Beyond Joule, there are a bunch of other ways business AI impacts your planetary landscape.
Like Just Ask, where instead of spending years building static, custom analytical stories, you just ask the model data for insights and it wormholes its way directly into a visual story.
Or dozens of new GenAI use cases deployed right inside our cloud LOB solutions, from HR job description writing to e-commerce sales guidance to guided procurement experiences and streamlined expensing in Concur.
Now, Captain, don't forget about our numerous use cases available right now inside S4 HANA's own terraformed environment.
Or our code generation capabilities with SAP Build Code and beyond. So you can extend that ERP environment better, faster, and more cleanly.
And speaking of keeping it clean, reduce swivel chair and manual efforts with SAP Build Process Automation and reduce that Kessel run. Make it in under 12 parsecs.
And don't forget, if you're going to need to move your data out of your SAP environment, there's always SAP Datasphere for a governed data fabric approach.
And last but not least, your ability to use generative AI and the larger language model of your choice with SAP Generative AI Hub and SAP HANA Cloud Vector.
Phew, that was a lot.
We understand it can seem difficult. It can be confusing. There are a lot of options and a complicated set of capabilities and steps forward.
That's why we're here to help as you plan your way to infinity and the generative AI fourth dimension.
And today's story ends here with Captain Proton, Lieutenant Nova, you, and the wider supportive AI people, SAP, community, plotting out their generative AI journey into the fourth dimension together.
So? So, Tim, you can tell, Tim and Jarrett did probably just a little bit of work on that, right? And probably more than just preparing your standard slide presentation. So, Martin, do you have your camera on again? Do you want to do film of the crowd? So, Jarrett's in Hawaii. Tim's, I forget where Tim is, but Tim's somewhere else doing some of more of his day job. Show of appreciation for those guys. Stand up, everybody, if you enjoyed it, and clap. Okay, and I hate to say this, but that was probably better than Jared being here. Oh, I didn't say stop the film. So probably something you did not expect, correct? And maybe not gone through SAP marketing, but we'll keep that in here. So that was the world premiere, and it will be going to video on there. Anyone interested in checking out that video later and sharing it back home? Yes? That was pretty weak. Anybody interested? Yes. Awesome. So let's chat a little bit about some of what Captain Proton and Lieutenant Nova talked about. So yeah, it's hard to keep a straight face. So I want to introduce you to Ted Way. Ted has actually come over from Microsoft in December to join SAP to work on the AI side. So Ted, before we have a bit of a conversation about a few different things and this community, tell us folks a bit about your role and do some promotion of your session in the afternoon.
All right, sounds good. And thanks so much for the opportunity. My name is Ted. As Paul mentioned, it's been an honor and a privilege just to be able to get to know so many of you in this community. And I work as a director of product management in our business AI unit. And just to give you an idea of where that sits, recently that was reorged under Christian Klein, our CEO. And what our job is to what I think of as being the heroes behind the hero of Captain Proton and Lieutenant Nemo and all of you. So our team built out the AI capabilities that then are shipped into our line of business products. So for example, Joule, the digital assistant, generative AI hub that you heard about, AI core that you can run large language models on, and then a lot of the work that we're doing at SAP around AI and foundation models. So that's just some of the stuff that we do. And I'm really excited to work with all of you and to hear all of your feedback. And just from what Andrew was talking about, I was at Microsoft for 15 years before joining SAP 3 months ago. And so please be gentle with me. I'm still learning a lot about SAP and all the different products. And so I'm looking forward to learning all about that. But what I do want to say is when it comes to corporate explorers, I hope as a word of encouragement is that it is possible. I lived through that at Microsoft. And the encouraging thing was that the people were the same in the sense that you might be thinking, and you might, as you were listening to Andrew, it's like, yes, I want to be a corporate explorer. This is what I've been dying to do. But all these silent killers or other things were there. And we faced that at Microsoft too, right? You know, everything that Andrew had talked about, we had faced. But as Satya came in as CEO and as the culture change was happening, the core teams did not change, right? Meaning that the people that you are working with today, the people that you are interacting with in your organizations, they are the people who can also go forward with you in this transformation. Now, of course, the changes that were made were at the leadership level, right? I think, one of the big things that we have now as a mantra we had at Microsoft was no jerks. Right, and so there were a lot of leadership changes. Some of the executives who used to yell a lot, who used to do a lot of things, they left, right? But then I think we got some really good new leaders. But the core people remained the same. And the core people did what you see Microsoft having done. So I hope that's a note of encouragement in the sense that as you go on this corporate explorer journey, that you will be able to, that it is possible, right? And having lived through that, it is very encouraging for me. And what we'd love to see at SAP, at all the different organizations. So going back before, Paul and I start chatting, I do also want to talk about just some of the things that have been going through my mind in these past 2 days of just really.
And by the way, he's only been a few months. This is his first visit to Newtown Square.
Yes.
And this is his first meeting with his community. And, and I told him all communities aren't quite like this yet. Right. So he's sort of learning a bit along the way.
Yeah, and I'm so excited, yeah. But as I think about, just some of the words going through my head, right, it's just, it's the vision, right, it's the mission, and it's the team. I think the vision when it comes to AI, generative AI, is very clear in the sense that we know that this is something that is going to be disruptive, but it is something that we have to come up with together. I think about the first television commercial, right? The first television commercial, if you think about that, was basically a picture with a radio ad playing in the background, right? Because nobody really knew what to do with television. And I think when it comes to generative AI, I think we're still figuring out what can be done with generative AI. But this is something that we all come up with together. And from a mission perspective, right, we heard a lot about how do we translate strategy and vision into reality. And that's a journey that we are all on together to figure that out. And then the team is what's most important, as what we've talked about. So on that note, from a product engineering perspective, what I love as a team to come together with is really your help, right? Your help in terms of as we are gathering insights and validating, to what Andrew was just talking about. Love to get your feedback. You're the boots on the ground, right? You are the ones who are talking to your line of business owners and the people who come to you with their problems. You know exactly what the problems are. Kind of like a funny aside, I read this joke about lawyers and doctors kind of competing with each other. Lawyers were saying, you know, man, I got an amazing job. People come to me with their problems. They pay me by the minute to listen to their problems. And then the doctor was like, well, people come to me and tell me their problems and pay me, and they take off their clothes and they tell me their problems. But, you know, well, we don't do that as engineers, as enterprise architects, but people come to us with their problems, but we get to invent solutions to their problems. And that's what's most exciting about this role. But what are the problems that your customers are telling you, your stakeholders are telling you? We'd love to learn more about that so that we can build the right things. And then as we're building out these features and working with our line of business partners as they are shipping these new capabilities, what we'd love from you is your validation and your feedback. Are we going in the right direction? Are we actually solving real problems, right? Getting that feedback, getting that early access. There's a ton of things that we are incubating that I'd love to share with you to get your feedback on, are we solving the right things? Is this going to be something that will be helpful? So this is what I'd love to leave from here, right, in this community of what is the team that is coming together to accomplish this vision as we go pursue that vision.
So the keynote, who was at the keynote on Monday, AI for Enterprise Architecting for AI? So our intent is to learn together and work together. So have a stream, both virtual and physical engagement of enterprise architects. You know, we're all learning, you know, everyone doesn't know everything. Mm-hmm. And that point of, as we evolve in learning, as we understand some use cases, be force multipliers inside your organizations, not just from sharing things out, but sharing things in. So you folks can also reach into your organizations, things you're hearing from your different lines of businesses, provide input back to people like Ted, so SAP can do different things from a product side.
Yes.
Sounds good?
And this is exactly what we're looking for. Yeah, love that. So.
Awesome. So we're going to turn to our next speaker now. Reminder again, we have a full track on AI in here this afternoon after lunch with a lot of great speakers. So thanks again, Ted.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, everybody.